If you look at the Kitty Chen Abella wedding dress, you probably just see a beautiful, sparkly ball gown.
Right. Just a classic dress.
Yeah, exactly. But if you look underneath the fabric, I mean, you are staring at a high-performance machine. It's heavily relying on centuries-old physics.
Oh, absolutely.
And we usually stop right at the surface with fashion. We see the lace, the sheer volume, and we just leave it at that. But today, we're going far beyond the surface for this deep dive.
We really are.
We are looking at structural engineering, the psychology of modern design, and what it actually takes to win in today's retail landscape.
Yeah, which is a brutal landscape right now.
Totally brutal. And we are filtering all of that through the lens of one highly specific garment from a place called Dariana Bridal and Tuxedo. They're a renowned boutique out in Warrenton, Pennsylvania.
It really is the perfect case study. It's rare to find an item that sits so perfectly at the intersection of architecture and consumer psychology.
Because the Abella isn't just fabric stitched together, it's a complex system. It reminds me of looking at a beautifully painted, modern concrete pillar.
Okay, I like that comparison.
Right, because on the outside, it's just sleek and minimalist. But the real story is the rebar hidden inside unseen, but doing a tremendous amount of structural heavy lifting.
Exactly.
Every piece of boning in this dress is basically doing the work of that rebar.
That is exactly the way to look at it. This single dress manages to capture highly sought-after contemporary trends like the whole clean girl aesthetic. But to achieve that modern look, it relies entirely on traditional, deeply historical architectural elements.
Right.
It's a brilliant paradox, really.
So let's zoom straight into that physical foundation.
Let's do it.
The sources tell us the Abella is part of Kitty Chen's 2026 Ivoire bridal collection. And it's described as an elegant ball gown, but it throws a curveball right away.
It does.
The top features a strapless, wrapped sweetheart neckline with a literal twist. The fabric crisscrosses at the top of the bodice to provide this subtle ruching detail.
Which is gorgeous.
Yeah, but the real core architectural feature, the rebar in our analogy, is the dramatic Basque waist combined with an elongated, structured bodice and heavy boning.
Yes, the Basque waist. That is the key.
Now, I have to push back on this for a second. Okay, let's unpack this.
Sure.
Because when I hear ball gown, I just picture a giant, heavy, poofy skirt holding its shape purely through layers of stiff tulle.
Right, like a cupcake.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what makes the architecture of this specific waistline so fundamentally different from, like, a standard dress you'd pull off a rack?
That is the exact distinction we need to establish here. So, a standard ball gown simply cinches at the natural waist and explodes outward.
Okay.
It relies purely on outward volume and gravity.
It's just piling on fabric.
Exactly. But the Basque waist operates on a completely different geometric principle. It's a V-shaped or U-shaped drop waist that extends below the natural waistline.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so when you combine that downward geometric point with the elongated structured bodice and the rigid boning running through it, you aren't just holding fabric up.
Right.
You are actively redistributing the visual and physical weight of the entire garment.
The source notes specifically that this design snatches brides in at the waist before it expands into that full skirt.
Yes.
And that significantly elongates the torso.
Precisely. The boning acts like a steel framework, providing immense structural support. And this fundamentally changes the posture of the wearer.
It forces you to stand differently.
It forces a certain carriage. You have this highly structured, rigid, elongated top half, which then meets a box-pleated skirt featuring a high slit.
Wait, a ball gown with a high slit.
Yes, exactly.
So you have extreme rigidity meeting sudden sweeping movement. It's not just a puffy skirt, it's an engineered contrast.
It's very intentional.
And I imagine if the top is that rigid and heavy, it's going to look incredibly severe, almost like medieval armor, unless you find a way to soften it up visually.
Exactly. If the dress were entirely heavy structure, it would feel completely oppressive. It requires lightness to offset that rigid engineering.
Right.
It's a delicate balancing act of visual weight.
And it delivers that lightness through some really clever optical illusions.
It really does.
The back of the Abella's bodice is entirely sheer mesh, but it's decorated with beaded floral and vine appliques, and those wrap all the way around to illusion side cutouts. The source describes the effect perfectly, I think. It looks like beaded flowers are laying directly on bare skin.
which completely subverts the expectation of what a heavily structured bodice should look like.
Yeah.
You expect solid satin wrapping all the way around to hold that shape.
Right. You expect thick fabric to hide the engineering.
Exactly.
And then, running straight down the middle of that sheer illusion mesh, you have buttons starting at the top of the bodice and running all the way down a rounded cathedral-length train.
It's an incredible juxtaposition of structure and bareness.
It really is.
Yeah.
But the actual fabric of the skirt is where the real genius lies, I think.
Oh, definitely.
The dress comes in diamond white, and you get two distinct fabric options. You can choose a plain satin for a sleek, high-fashion look. Or you can choose the printed jacquard.
What's fascinating here is the jacquard. It is particularly noteworthy when we talk about contemporary aesthetics.
Yeah, the sources detail how this printed jacquard fabric has large flowers subtly worked into the skirt itself. It's designed to give that massive, highly coveted, clean girl aesthetic, you know, that minimalist, effortless, I woke up looking chic and unbothered vibe that's just all over social media right now.
Right, everyone wants that look.
But it does it with a touch of something much deeper. Honestly, looking at the description of this jacquard fabric, it reminds me of a secret watermark on a high-value currency bill.
Oh, wow, that's a brilliant way to picture the texture.
Thanks. I mean, from a distance, it just looks crisp, clean, and minimalist. It hits all those clean girl notes.
Yeah.
But when the light hits it just right, or when you step closer, you see the true complexity of the floral pattern woven directly into the fabric.
It's a design that actively rewards people who pay close attention.
Exactly. Oh, and I cannot forget the most crucial, fundamentally important hidden detail of the entire skirt.
The holy grail of dresses.
Pocket
The
set.
ultimate hidden structural triumph of any modern dress.
I mean, truly.
But if we look closer at those fabric choices, the jacquard, the sheer mesh, the cutouts, we start to see a really fascinating psychological tension playing out.
Okay, how so?
The Abella is executing a very delicate psychological tightrope walk.
I think I see what you mean, because you've got this giant, regal ball gown skirt and a cathedral-length train that screams traditional modesty.
Right.
But then you turn around and the back is sheer mesh with a high slit in the skirt. That's a massive contradiction.
It is a contradiction, but a highly intentional one. Think about what a cathedral train and a full ball gown communicate.
Tradition, royalties, ceremony.
Exactly. It is the classic bridal expectation that has existed for centuries.
Mm-hmm.
But a modern wearer in 2026 often doesn't want to feel entirely bound by historical modesty. They want agency.
They want to feel like themselves.
Right. By introducing sheer illusion cutouts on the sides, an entirely open-looking mesh back, and a high slit, the designer introduces daring, highly modern, almost subversive elements.
It allows the wearer to inhabit both spaces simultaneously.
Yes.
You get the traditional regal fantasy while completely maintaining a modern, edgy, and independent identity.
Precisely. It resolves the cognitive dissonance of wanting to be a princess for a day, but also wanting to feel fiercely modern and self-possessed.
That makes so much sense, but having a dress that captures all these different psychological states actually creates a huge logistical problem, doesn't it?
What do you mean?
Well, you're dealing with different climates, different body types, different comfort levels with showing skin. A rigid design just can't accommodate all of that. So the dress basically has to operate as a chameleon.
Absolutely. Adaptability is the true test of any strong design framework.
Right.
If a structure can't adapt to its environment, it breaks.
And the Abella seems engineered for maximum adaptability. According to the sources, this dress works perfectly in dramatically different venues, from imposing historic cathedrals to lush outdoor arboretums.
It really crosses seasons effortlessly.
Yeah, in the spring and summer, the open illusion back, the sweetheart neckline, and the high skirt slit offer an airy, breathable feel. But in the autumn and winter, that heavier jacquard fabric pairs flawlessly with glamorous accessories. The sources specifically mention styling it with fur wraps and opera gloves for a formal winter look.
It changes its entire persona based on the environmental context.
Yeah.
And that's largely because the foundational architecture is so solid.
Right, the rebar holds it up no matter what you add to the outside.
Exactly.
The chameleon effect goes way beyond just styling, though. It's built into the manufacturing process itself.
Yes, the customization.
The Abella can be customized directly by the designer. You can order it with or without the skirt slit. You can have the bodice fully lined if you don't want the sheer illusion mesh on the back and sides. You can even order custom lengths.
Which is huge for alteration.
Totally. And there is a highly specific add-on designed just for this gown, a matching scalloped-edge mantilla-style royal-length veil that perfectly mirrors the intricate lace appliques of the dress.
It's important to understand these customizations, not just as a menu of options, but as a deliberate strategy within the broader ecosystem of the designer.
Okay, say more about that.
Well, Kitty Chen isn't just throwing random options at a wall.
No, she has a highly structured universe of design to capture different consumer profiles.
Exactly.
The sources tell us Kitty Chen operates 4 distinct collections: Couture, KC, Kitty Chen, and Ivoire, which is where the Abella lives.
Right.
And she uses this network to capture entirely different psychological profiles. For instance, if you are a traditional bride who wants long sleeves and full lace illusion backs, she has dresses like the Isla, which uses romantic Chantilly French lace.
Oh, wow.
Or the Keisha, which uses bold vine lace.
And for those who are drawn to the aesthetic of the Abella, but want something entirely different structurally.
She has an answer for that, too. For brides who love Abella's vibe but want a sexier fitted silhouette, there's a sister dress called the Opal.
That is so smart.
But this brings up a really interesting philosophical point about fashion, and I want to get your take on this.
Okay, lay it on me.
If a designer creates what is essentially supposed to be a masterpiece, a fully realized vision like the Abella, why let the consumer alter it? Why let them line the bodice or remove the slit? Doesn't altering the core design dilute the artistic vision of the creator?
That is a great question. But that assumption relies on an outdated definition of luxury.
How so?
In the past, true luxury was about strict rigidity. The designer dictated the masterpiece from on high, and you, the consumer, conformed your body and your preferences to fit their vision.
Right. If you didn't fit the dress, it was your fault.
Exactly. If it was uncomfortable or if it didn't quite suit your modesty levels, that was your problem, not the designer's.
So luxury was essentially about exclusivity and compliance.
Exactly. But today, the paradigm has completely shifted. Knowledge, fashion, and design are only considered truly valuable when they can be applied personally.
Oh, that's interesting.
True luxury today isn't about conforming to an inflexible artistic vision. It's about a design framework that is strong enough to adapt to the wearer's unique identity without losing its structural integrity.
Wow, okay.
By allowing a bride to line the bodice or remove the slit, Kitty Chen is acknowledging that the ultimate expression of modern couture is radical personalization.
That makes total sense.
The dress serves the wearer, not the other way around.
That reframes the entire concept for me. The underlying structure, the Basque waist, the boning is the canvas, but the customization is the actual art.
Bingo.
But, you can't just click add to cart on a highly personalized, evolving piece of engineering like that.
Definitely not.
Having a dress that is this customizable actually creates a completely different kind of demand on the retailer. You need a deeply personalized physical environment to facilitate it.
The bridge between the creator's adaptable framework and the consumer's final vision is the retail experience.
Yes.
It is often the most critical yet overlooked part of the process.
And the retail environment behind this source material is genuinely fascinating. I want to look closely at Dariana Bridal and Tuxedo.
That's it.
This is the small business in Warrington, Bucks County, Pennsylvania that provided our detailed breakdown today.
Right.
It was founded in January 2013 by Franco and Wendy Salerno. And interestingly, the name of the store is a mashup of their 2 daughters' names, Daria and Deanna.
A literal family foundation beneath the business. I love that.
Yeah, it's very sweet. They are a full-service boutique. They handle bridal gowns, of course, but also tuxedo and suit rentals and mother of the bride and groom dresses.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, featuring designers like Adriana Papel and Daymore. They have an in-house seamstress for expert alterations, and they even handle wedding gown preservation after the fact.
So they're with you through the entire life cycle of the event.
Exactly, but what caught my attention is their specific approach to customer service. The sources emphasize that they operate with 0 pushy sales gimmicks.
In an industry often known for high-pressure sales tactics, that alone is a huge differentiator.
Absolutely.
But it's their communication model that really stands out.
Here is where it gets really interesting. This is the detail that stopped me in my tracks. You, as a customer, can literally text their store's landline number.
Wait, text a landline?
Yes. And you don't get trapped in an automated phone tree, and you don't get an AI chatbot. You get an immediate response directly from the owners, Franco and Wendy, even after hours.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, when you think about the logistics of that, It is a staggering commitment.
It really is, and the results of that commitment speak for themselves. They have over 1,100 Google reviews with a 4.9-star rating.
That is incredibly hard to maintain.
And get this single family-run shop in Pennsylvania was featured on The Late Show with Stephen Colbert in July of 2025.
No way.
Yes way. In 2024, they were named a top 100 small business in America by the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. They've been featured by Apple.com, The Wall Street Journal, ABC National News.
Wow.
It makes me wonder, they are essentially operating with the warmth and personal touch of a neighborhood diner, yet they have the kind of national media footprint you'd expect from a massive tech conglomerate.
It's crazy.
How does a single brick-and-mortar shop scale that kind of intimacy?
They scale it by recognizing what is actually scarce in the modern market.
Okay, tell me more.
We live in an era of absolute information overload. The modern consumer is constantly navigating anonymous online shopping, automated chatbots, and frictionless transactions that are completely devoid of human warmth.
So true.
The pendulum has swung so far toward digital automation that genuine, human-centric communication has become the ultimate rarity.
It's almost like empathy itself has become a luxury commodity.
It has. Think about the psychology of the consumer in this specific scenario. Planning a wedding is highly emotional and often anxiety-inducing.
Yeah, people lose their minds.
Right. So if it's 10 p.m. on a Tuesday and a customer suddenly starts panicking about whether the illusion mesh on their Abella dress can support the weight of a customized bustle, they don't want to read an FAQ page.
No, they want a person.
They want reassurance.
Yeah.
When a real owner texts them back late at night to answer that question, they are providing something a tech conglomerate simply cannot algorithmically reproduce: genuine human care.
Right.
In today's digital landscape, refusing to automate your customer relationships is a radical act of disruption.
Wow, I never thought of it that way.
That is why they end up in the Wall Street Journal. They prove that high-touch human service fundamentally outpaces high-tech anonymity when the stakes are personal.
The incredible engineering of the Abella dress is perfectly mirrored by the engineering of the business that sells it.
Exactly.
Both rely on a very strong, reliable foundation, whether that's a Basque waist or a pair of dedicated owners to support a highly personalized, adaptable experience on the surface.
It's a profound synergy. Structure enables personalization.
Let's summarize what we've uncovered today, because the takeaways extend far beyond bridal fashion.
They really do.
The Kitty Chen Abella dress isn't just a piece of white fabric. It is a triumph of structural engineering, using the geometry of a Basque waist to redistribute weight and fundamentally alter posture. And it's brilliantly disguised by the airy optical illusions of jacquard fabric and beaded mesh. It represents a shift in modern luxury, proving that true value lies in a design's ability to adapt to its environment and its wearer.
Spot on.
And just as importantly, we see how this complex physical garment is brought to life by the fiercely human, high-touch ecosystem of Dariana Bridal and Tuxedo.
It challenges how we evaluate the things we buy and the places we buy them from.
Exactly. I want you to remember this, whether you are out looking for a wedding dress, getting fitted for a suit, or even evaluating a new piece of software for your job. True quality always lies in the exact same intersection. It is the marriage of a rigorously engineered underlying structure combined with highly adaptable, intensely personalized features.
That structural integrity is non-negotiable. And looking at the Basque waist specifically, the sources highlight how modern designers are actively reviving centuries-old architecture to empower the modern wearer.
Yeah.
It's taking a tool from the deep past to solve a problem in the present.
Which leaves us with a really fascinating thought to carry forward.
It does. If a historical, heavily structured framework like the Basque waist can be so seamlessly integrated into a hyper-modern aesthetic to make someone feel more grounded and powerful, it makes you wonder, what other historical, forgotten design frameworks are out there? What concepts in classical architecture and old-school analog business practices, or even in our forgotten daily routines, are just waiting in the archives?
Wow.
Ready to be dusted off and applied to our hyper-modern lives to give us back our posture and our power.
Sometimes, to build the highest performance machine for the future, you have to pop the hood and rely on the physics of the past. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. Keep looking under the hood.